Welcome back on High Noon Live on LinkedIn. I'm Nikki Robotham, here with my guest Leah Sefor, an expert on having difficult conversations and living an unapologetic life. And to that point where we last left off in the last segment was really talking about no is a complete sentence. I know when I was a kid, when I used to, have to decline an invitation to go somewhere, I'd over-explain myself. I thought I had to justify my no.
Yeah.
But really coming back to that lighthouse sort of analogy around standing centered in your power, holding your boundaries from a place of being enough and that sense of self-worth. I mean, where have you found that people get into trouble? I call it getting into the deep end of the pool without a lifeguard, because you all of a sudden going, hang on, I've now dug this hole, I've over-explained myself, and then people are starting to see that there's wiggle room in my boundaries.
That's exactly it.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you completely. The minute you start flustering, like over-explaining and excusing and justifying, the other person sees straight through it. The other person now knows you are easily, they can manipulate you easily. They can negotiate. They can get you back to what they want out of you. Because your low self-esteem is easy to mold.
Absolutely.
So no is a complete sentence, and it's hard for people to just say, can you do this? Can you help me with this project? No. And you've got that voice saying, I'm so sorry, I really would like to, and I know that you snowed under, and I don't know where we've learned this thing of over-apologizing for ourselves. So it's learning how to say no, and letting, again, like we said in the last segment, where that line is, what people's reactions are going to be on that side of the line, and actually their stuff. So if you say no and end it there, and that person gets uncomfortable, they get offended, they think you're being rude, it's their stuff. So you're not being rude, you're not being aggressive, you're just simply saying no. And if they come back at you and go, yes, but, you can say, I can hear you need the help, and I can understand you're struggling, and my answer is still no. So learn to say and instead of but.
I love that. That's such a powerful tool to take that power back for yourself. And to that point, I often find where people have become boundaryless, or what I call being porous, or having boundaries that are porous and allow,
Permeable.
things, permeable, things to come through, is I think we've prioritized consensus over connection, because we can still maintain the connection with another individual without having to agree. But I think for too long we think that in order to be liked, because we've given our self-worth, that validation to everyone else's approval, we give up that connection with ourselves and the other person, and then we overgive, and then we become we become expectant that we'll get something back in return. When it doesn't happen, we become resentful.
And if that connection is dependent on you needing their approval, on you needing their acceptance, then is that a connection worth holding on to? It's a big one, and it's hard, because yes, sometimes putting a boundary in place is going to cost you the relationship. But I always say to people, if you don't have the space or safety to speak your truth, and to put boundaries in place in the relationship, and it's that fragile that the other person is going to run away, then there was never a relationship there to begin with. That's
so powerful, because I've seen so many people who've given up their relationship with themselves.
That's it.
In order to have the relationship with another person. It's that lack of self-worth, it's that lack of being centered in being enough now. Because I think it's almost been the oxygen that a lot of people have survived on, is other people's approval.
And you are nowhere. It's like one of my favorite quotes by Janis Joplin is, don't compromise yourself. You're all you've got. You're all you have got. At the end of the day, people will come and go. Relationships will come and go. Jobs will come and go. Colleagues will come and go. At the end of the day, you are all you've got. You have to go to bed at night knowing that you have lived with that integrity, those boundaries, that self-respect every single day of your life. Because if you are spending your whole life doing it for everybody else, you are going to have so much regret down the line. And that is what boundaries is about, is having no regret.
It's no regret, it's space for yourself. And often where I find it, people struggle to hold boundaries, I often just say to them, you don't even have to say this out loud, just put your hand on your heart and just remind yourself that you're enough now. Because I think where I've sensed that I start to say a yes where I really mean a no. And I love how Shonda Rhimes puts it in A Year of Yes, that often saying no is saying yes to yourself. And I often say to people, listen to that gut feeling, that feeling within your body, because we know within our bodies, our nervous systems, whether or not it feels safe, whether or not we want to. And that's why I love the concept of a full body yes and a full body no, because we know within our bodies if we really want to say no. And you often know within a split second
Immediately.
after saying it that you're like, I shouldn't have committed to that. I shouldn't have said that. How do I get out of it? And that's why for me it is important to also then, in such a real-time world where we thought we have to say yes immediately or no immediately, to give ourselves space, to be able to say, can I get back to you on that? Can I sleep on it? But it's almost, again, like that's been indoctrinated to us in this 24/7 real-time, fast-paced world, that our responses should be immediate.
I know, and that's the problem. And that's why people fluster when they have the boundary conversation, is that they think, I need to give you all the details right now up front. And a conversation can take a long time, you know. So we've lost the art of the space. We've lost the art of just the pause, of being able to just sit with it, feel the discomfort, process it. You know, people just want to run from discomfort, and boundaries feels like discomfort for a lot of people.
Oh, completely. Because I often say this should have been included in the school curriculums.
Oh, completely.
If we'd been taught boundaries and budgeting, life would have been a whole different ballgame back in school.
Exactly.
But I just, you know, I think for me, it's one of those cornerstones within our lives. If we can hold those boundaries, it builds a foundation to protect our energy, our resilience, our sense of self-worth.
And the health of your relationships.
Absolutely.
Your relationships will only be healthy when there are very clear boundaries within that. So you know, what are the rules? What are the ground rules? What are the foundations here?
It's almost like those are the tram lines on the tennis court that we know where we're playing.
Yes.
Oh, Leah, it has just been so magical to have you in studio today. It's been wonderful talking about this. And I think for anyone looking for any tips around how to have those difficult conversations, I'd highly recommend a copy of Leah's book. It is essential for anyone looking to start to build boundaries. So start small, start in a way that feels safe for you, hold space for yourself, and remember to be succinct. It's so important to have those conversations, to start to set boundaries that feel clear, kind, and consistent for everyone in your life. It's worth holding space for yourself. And if you're looking for more details around how to build boundaries that feel badass in your life, that bring balance and resilience to your life, grab a copy of my book, Embrace Your Elegant Power, Your Path to Success Through Ease. I've got a whole chapter on boundaries, and watch out, my Boundaries Are Badass Masterclass is launching soon. I'd highly recommend it for anyone looking to build boundaries in their lives. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for joining us. It's been wonderful.